They say every empire starts with a choice. Mine began with an empty fridge. Back then, our district didn't even have a name, just a smell of diesel, damp walls, and Sunday prayers that never reached heaven. It was a place the city forgot, where kids outran debts and mothers stitched their hopes into cheap curtains. I was 17. My name was Marco Bellini, and the day I joined the Mafia, I didn't choose power. I chose survival. My mother folded the same past due notices until the paper turned soft, the red stamps like open wounds. My sister Lucia coughed through the nights. The doctor wanted cash first, compassion later. My father, he'd vanished in the construction trade, leaving ghosts and an old hammer. I stacked shifts, unloading crates at Signor Rossi's grocery. He liked me, but liking doesn't pay rent. One evening, he whispered a name that rolled like thunder under his breath. Don Salvatore Moretti. Salvatore wasn't just a man. He was a law, a current that pulled every desperate soul toward him. I told myself it would be just this one time. The meeting was behind a butcher shop, the air cold, heavy with raw meat and fear. That was where I met the man who'd teach me three truths. Money is never just money. Loyalty always costs. And mercy is a blade you keep hidden. Don Salvatore wore a gray wool coat, his rings like little suns on his fingers. His eyes didn't greet me, they weighed me. You're Marco Bellini. They say you work hard. Good. Work is the only honest lie left in this city. He slid an envelope across the table. A loan. No interest for family. Family, that word already meant chains. I don't want to run packages, I said. Then don't take the money, he replied, smiling. But remember, hunger doesn't care about dignity. I took it. He laid a heavy hand on my shoulder. Tomorrow, Bellini. Clean shirt. Empty hands. Empty hands. He was already filling them. They didn't call it training. They called it helping. Moretti's men taught me to see the city as moving pieces, routes, favors, debts, police schedules. My job was simple. To notice who changes his hat twice in an hour, who pays too quickly, who looks at the ground too long. Then came my first test. A rival crew was selling fake prescription cards through a pharmacy near our block. Don Salvatore wanted that business can leave quietly. So primera, obashed. For 7 days, I mapped every step, every lunch break, every camera glitch. One night, I swapped a single box on a single shelf. The rival cruise shipment vanished into a warehouse that already wore our mark. No one saw me, but everyone felt it. 2 days later, the rivals were blaming each other. Salvatore offered to restore peace for a price. He smiled at me like a father who just found a lost son. You're a ghost, Marco. The city won't even know it's haunted. For the first time in months, we had heat. Lucia stopped coughing. I told myself this wasn't crime. It was correction. Every street story cracks the same way, with one bad man given too much power. Ours was named Vito. He collected debts for Salvatore, and he loved the sound of fear. I saw him threaten a woman at the laundromat, snatch a gold chain from a kid. I hated him. He makes us enemies, I told Salvatore. We sell protection, not terror. Don Salvatore only smiled. You still believe protection and terror are different things. He told me, mercy is a gift, Marco, because it can be taken away. But I couldn't let it go. I started rerouting payments, erasing names from lists, keeping certain doors safe. Soon, Vito noticed. Then Salvatore did. He called me for espresso at dawn. Nights move in an L, he said, pushing a sugar packet across the table. Unpredictable. Clever. But nights never become kings. I left that cafe knowing I'd just stepped onto his chessboard and that I'd have to flip it someday. A fire started in a tenement near Lucia's school. Faulty wiring, forgotten tenants. Vito's crew owned the block, but arrived late, waiting for bribes before clearing the street. I ran inside anyway. Screams. A pregnant woman crying in the dark stairwell. Her name was Marta. I carried her down 3 floors through flame and sirens. Reporters came. Cameras flashed. Don Salvatore wrapped his coat around me. "A hero," he told them. "One of ours." But behind the lenses, I saw it in his eyes, a spark of fear. Heroes are hard to control. That night, Vito found me behind the shop. "You embarrass the family," he hissed. The knife flashed, but my reflex was faster. When it was over, I washed blood off my hands in a stranger's sink. Lemon soap, cold water, the city's blessing. I didn't sleep. I started planning. Power isn't about bullets. It's accounting. You map the city like a ledger. Black ink for what's owed, red for what's stolen, gold for what could be earned. Our new business wasn't drugs or weapons. It was order. First rule, pay salaries. Fear creates chaos. Salaries create pride. Second, mercy is conditional. Miss a payment, we talk. Lie to me, you disappear economically. No suppliers, no help. Isolation is a clean punishment. Third, favors. Real favors: get a permit, fix a roof, make a rival apologize. Each one a coin that never stops spinning. People whispered, "Bellini listens. Bellini remembers. Bellini forgives once." Don Salvatore saw it. He invited me to dinner. Linen napkins, red wine like confession. "We choose our heirs," he said, "or our enemies choose them for us." I raised my glass. "Then choose wisely." He didn't know the choice was already made. Coups in real life are quiet. Paperwork and timing. I didn't kill Don Salvatore. I bought him. His accountant tie saved his daughter from a gambling debt. The butcher I paid his pension in advance, asking only that the back room stay empty. His driver I got his brother a legal visa, and business boomed. The police saw fewer crimes where we operated. Order felt like peace, and peace felt like gratitude. When Don Salvatore called a meeting, no one came, except me. He stared, then laughed, bitter and small. "You think you invented loyalty?" he said. "You only rearranged it." "Maybe," I answered, "but I made it work." He leaned close. "You'll never sleep without listening for footsteps." "I already don't," I said. "At least now they walk for me." That was the night Salvatore's reign ended without a shot fired, and the city learned a new name. Marco Bellini. Power is heavy. It doesn't scream, it hums in your bones. I moved my mother and Lucia to a seaside apartment with real windows. Lucia studied nursing. My mother grew roses in recycled jars. When she saw me, she'd only say, "You look tired." Her way of asking who I had become. I built company security, transport, loans, all legal on paper, all cleaner than before. The city slept better. Maybe that's enough. Sometimes I dream of Vito's blade, of the fire's heat, of Salvatore's voice calling me son. I wake up and listen to a silence as heavy as confession. Washid regret. No, regret is for people who can undo things. I live with accounting. Years later, I passed the old butcher shop. Fresh paint. New owner. A kid sweeping the doorway, humming into his earbuds. He didn't know my name. That's how I knew the city finally belonged to me. They'll call me a boss, a saint, a devil, whatever helps them sleep. But I know what I am, a man who saw a broken window and learned to fix glass with ash. They say every empire starts with a choice. They're wrong. It starts with a need and a hunger to answer it. My name is Marco Bellini. I never wanted a throne. I wanted a door I could open from both sides.